Another issue that I have, and it's going to seem like I'm like another issue, another issue, another issue. I'm just giving you some pain points that I've experienced in my career that made me be like, these are some downfalls of being a trainer in training and development. My name is Jennifer Mitchell-Early. I help individuals and teams achieve organizational and personal success. And on this channel, I talk about all things leadership. I talk about training and development. I talk about knowledge is necessary and knowing things and applying knowledge and being able to be a knowledge leader in your life. And I've also talked about communication and professionalism and, those things that will help you to become a better professional and a better person. So if you're looking for tips, tools, resources, and customized training on how to pursue purpose and achieve your goal, click the subscribe button so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Today, we're talking about the pitfalls of training and development. And why there have been times in my career that I was just like, nope, I'm going to switch gears and try something new. So training and development, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, then you already know that I love learning and development, i.e. training and development. I love designing and delivering training, customized training to meet my clients' needs. And in particular, I love helping the participants. I love to see the light bulb turn on and for them to realize perhaps some things about themselves that they did not know before coming to training, or have it reinforced, or encourage them in something new and challenging if their job is changing, or if they need to learn new behaviors in order to do their jobs, new systems. Leaders, I like to enable them with leadership tools and skills to manage their teams and be the best leader that they can be for themselves and for others. But there have been times within my career that I have been like, you know what? I think I've reached the limits here. Like, I think it's time to try something new. So you might be saying, Jennifer, why have you been frustrated, or what has frustrated you about training and development to the point that you thought you wanted to try something else? Not getting the information or resources needed to do your job gets old really fast. Sometimes I have been in situations where I've had to create my own, I have to figure out what I need for myself and then go after those materials. I've had to go outside of the organization to see how other organizations might be using something I'm looking at. I've had to do my own research, to build my own materials. And that has happened more than I can tell you. Like in a recent project, I was given like a 20-page pamphlet of photocopies. I mean, for real photocopies from a manufacturer's like guide of what they sold. And that's what I had to use to try to build a program. I literally had to go do research on the topic because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it entailed. I had to figure out all of the compliance, OSHA compliance around it and other standards around it. I had to look at, videos and do research and figure out what it was so that I can write it. So their 20-page pamphlet, I'll call it, turned into an 8-chapter multi-day curriculum with, about 20 how-to videos, exercises associated with each chapter. Each chapter had like breakouts for reviews and all of those things. So you have to be really proactive, and you have to be ready and willing to do the work, because when training fails, and training has failed before, it is always going to be put on the trainer and or training department, because clients come to you and you tell them you can fix it. And, it may not even be a training fix. And so you're starting off in the hole right there. You're starting off, in failure right there. So some of the things that have turned me off over the years has been the fact that people don't have, and it's really our responsibility to do this. You have to set expectations. You have to make sure that when you talk to a client and you review what their need is, you acknowledge you identify it is a training need, And then you acknowledge what you can and cannot provide for the client so that you all are on the same page from jump. And as things come down the pike and you get more information, you become, the focus and your objectives become clear as you get buy-in at every level. Then you know that, you're going to have a successful program because the way it's being designed, you've gotten, approval and acceptance and all of those things in the beginning. Depending on the training, you may have no say in how it's designed or developed. Now, this was probably true earlier on in my career rather than in the latter part in recent years. I think it also depends on the role that you play. If you are a full-time employee on the training and development team and you are tasked with developing training, typically you will get an assignment from your department director about what training needs to be developed for what client. I have found, it has again been my experience, that you just take the assignment and you develop, the assignment based on the parameters that you're given at the time. In latter years, as a consultant working directly with a client without an intermediary of having a department manager, whether it be a training manager, whether it be a change management manager if you're on a project, or even a project manager, because their expertise isn't in training, I found that I've had a little bit more latitude with, hey, Jennifer, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what I want to achieve. How do you think we should go about it? Or they want to do X, Y, and Z. What are your thoughts? And even when I'm not asked what my thoughts are, if it's something that I think is not going to be effective, I will say so and explain why. And because of the explanation that I give, and because of the credibility that I've already established and the relationship I've already established with my client, I've often been able to create things the way that I see fit. I am very thorough. I am very comprehensive. So even with the 20-page pamphlet turned into 8 chapters and, all of those things in a multi-day program, that was well received because of all the research I did, the fact that I laid out before I started developing a training plan. Like, this is the audience. This is what the training will consist of. This is the methodology the training will use. This is the modality of the training, whether it be e-learning, instructor-led, videos, whatever the case may be. And I get buy-in at that level. And so once you have a buy-in for your training plan, it makes it so much easier then to move forward in that, because you've already articulated like an overall vision. You've given your client as to what the training is, who it will help, and a high level overview of, how it will roll out and all of that. So, but that's happened in the later years in my career. So depending on where you enter or where you are in your career and the department and how it's structured, you may find that you have very little say over what the training is and how the training is developed as far as the objectives that they want to cover and how they want to do it, and even down to how much time you're given. And that's something that I've struggled with throughout my career, that I think something should take a little bit more time to make sure that learners are learning and getting everything they need so the transfer training takes place, and clients are just like, okay, that's great, you got 4 hours. I appreciate that. I respect that you think you need 8, but you got 4. Deal with it. Let's cut some things out. And things sometimes that they want to cut out are things that are integral. They're vital to reaching the objective. So those are things where you have to be able to communicate that to the client. But those are some of the things that over the years, those are some things that if I had to say that there were pitfalls in training and development, things that will certainly frustrate a trainer and or a developer when you watching your materials get, sliced and diced through a feedback process, or not having all the resources you need, or having to race to meet someone else's deadline when you've asked for things, and your deadlines seem to be insignificant as it relates to someone else's priorities. Those are some of the things that can really confound you. But I want to say that and also beyond that, beyond you having these frustrations, another thing that you need to consider is that training departments are only so big. So you have to think about, like, what kind of career path would you have with the organization within a training department. Training directors, they're pretty much locked in for a minute. They're not moving in those departments. So, if there's levels, when I first started training, there was like a trainer 1, a trainer 2, a trainer 3, a performance, trainer, and then you got to be like a consultant, so there were levels in that. So those are things that you want to consider too, because it's been my experience that there's limited career growth. But having said all of those things, having said that training was tedious, that people's expectations or clients' expectations are not always aligned, that it's time constrained, that you have to set you may be asked to do training that's not, training won't fix it. All of those things, limited career path, all of those things. I still love training and development, and it's always going to be something that I love, because I, at the heart of it all, love education. I love helping individuals. I love educating people. I love watching the light turn on. I love giving people the tools they need to make their life and their jobs easier. I love encouraging individuals and showing them that even when they think they can't do it, they can. So that is just something that I've always loved. I've always been that way, and I always fall back on it. So even though I have, certainly dipped my toes in other ponds, I'm a former public official, a former adjunct professor. Again, that's part of education. I've been a manager, and all of those things. I author, speaker, minister, all of those things. I wear all of those hats. At the root of all of that is education, is empowering individuals, is advocating for individuals, is teaching individuals. And so for that reason, I will probably never, ever leave learning and development. I will probably continue to tweak my career as I go and do the things that that I'm passionate about, that I'm enthusiastic about, that challenge me, where I learn and I grow and I evolve as a professional, because there's still things in training and development that I can learn and that I can, that will be beneficial to me and I can pass on to other people. I mean, this is part of it. But so that's one reason why that's the major reason why I've not left training and development, because it really is so very complementary to anything else you do. I don't care if I went back into management, guess what? I still need to train my employees. I still need to be able to teach them, and I still need to be able to advocate for them. Or even if I have customers or clients outside of training and development, all those things are true. I mean, even as a public official, I did the same thing for my constituents. I did the same thing for my council colleagues when I was council president. So I think that it's great. It's a great foundation to have, even if you decide, I'm going to get in it, I'm going to see what it's like. Or if you're in it, you're like, I've been doing this for a little while, I'm tired of facilitating, I want to do something else. Well, the great thing about how we're training and development is now is that roles are pretty much siloed and segmented. So if you're doing facilitation, you can always, go into design and development. If you're doing design and development, you can always go into e-learning. There's various things that you can segue in. And although those positions, I think, are, pretty much, parallel is not the right word, but instead of moving up, they're basically on the same level. You'll be learning different things and challenging yourself in different ways. So I think that's always important too, because if you truly love learning and development, you'll get something out of every role that you'll play in the department. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.